Hi, everybody. Welcome to our marketing webinar. My name is Richard Greenane. I'm a co-founder here at procurementexpress.com. We're one of the world's top spend management companies. So I'm joined by my colleague, Mano Watson. Hi, Mano.
Hi, Richard. So basically, I'm just going to man the chat for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, then just ask the questions on the live chat section next to the video. And then at the end of this webinar, we will be answering it.
Cool. So yeah, we're going to answer all questions at the end. So I've spent countless hours talking to marketing companies about spend management and purchase control. So sounds riveting, right? But today I'm going to identify 3 headaches that I've seen in the marketing industry that show you how purchasing systems like Procurement Express can make your life in marketing a little bit easier. So first, just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm really sorry, but I am English and I am a very fast talker. If that's a problem, then I suggest you just make lots of notes, and we can share this video at the very end of the talk. And all I want you to do, please, is just to put "yes, please" in the comments, and then Mano a link to those out. So I promise this will be a short webinar, and we're going to have as much time for questions as you need. And at the end of the talk, I'm going to share my personal email address with you. So if you have any questions or spend control problems that you don't want to share in an open forum, that's fine. Just reach out to me with an email and I'll help you where I can. We can also talk through what issues you might be having and try and resolve those. So today we're going to identify oh, wrong screen there. Today we're going to identify 3 headaches within the marketing industry. And how we might go about solving them with, well, certainly with Procurement Express, but really with any purchasing system out there. So the first of these is about tracking spend from multiple people and multiple places. Any marketing company that I've been in has been a really busy place with lots of stuff going on. So maybe there's Julie who's buying things needed for different projects. Maybe James is ordering client billable and non-billable items. And Jeff, the office manager, is ordering things that should probably be categorized as overhead. So if you're already tracking spending, but you're using email, Excel, or paper-based purchasing books, this is quite common. You're probably doing some or all of the following. So this, I imagine, is kind of the process. First of all, you pull out a paper request or create something on email and for spend, and you send it over to a manager. And then the manager says, go ahead, and he or she may or may not have a look at their budget. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they just say, yeah, that seems reasonable, and they let it go. And then the person who requests it has to create a PO to send to a supplier, or maybe they have finance create it. So they send it over to finance, and then finance create a purchase order, probably as a Word document or something like that, or as a Google Doc. And then they enter all of that information into a spreadsheet so that they can categorize that spend. And then the PO gets sent over to the supplier, the invoice comes in to finance, but then finance has to then go and match that up against the spreadsheet that they've created. They have to chase up with the requesters to see if if those items were delivered or those services were provided, and then finance can pay the invoice. So with all these steps, mistakes are really easily made. Large amounts of time are wasted, and worse still, things like billables don't get caught, or they get caught in the mix, and they're not actually billed to clients. So this is how we think it should be done. So first of all, request is made by a staff member, but this request can have the items categorized into the different places where they need to go right at the very start. They can be noted as whether they're billable or non-billable to the client, and they can show whose budget they come under. So the request can then be emailed to the manager. The manager should have full view over her budget so that before she makes the decision, so that she can decide exactly whether to let that spend go or not, or go back to the requester and discuss with them about whether they're spending too much money or whether they're not buying the right thing. That PO should then be created automatically that can then be sent to the requester directly. And then when that invoice comes in, you want finance to be able to match that or that purchase order information very quickly, and then finance can pay the invoice. And at the end of the day, which is something you can never do with paper, finance can run reports over all the categorizations that are spent in real time. So if you go from number 1 scenario to this scenario, that's that headache cured. So basically, you're tracking your spend, How much are you billing to clients then? Being able to have your staff categorize the spend at the time of the request. So getting people to do things when they are requesting to spend your money is a really good time to get them to do those things. So somebody wants to spend money, you say, well, you have to fill all of this detail out. They fill out that detail. It's quick and easy to do. That's it, done for you. It doesn't have to be done by somebody else. And then delivering timely reports on jobs. In the way, a lot of different ways of drilling down into that data, depending on where you're coming from. That's that headache cured. On to number 2. So how does finance know when some goods or services have been received by the company? Something we talk to finance people a lot about. What happens is that you start spending money for a project, and those items are delivered either digitally, or if it's digital marketing, or in a physical sense. And then you send out somebody to pick things up in a truck. So you have to go to a store and buy some things. With digital purchases, there's usually no delivery docket. Even with physical purchases that come into the office, delivery dockets go astray, or they're attached to boxes, and the boxes are then discarded. So if finance receive an invoice for items without knowing whether those items have been received or not, then they have no way of knowing that the invoice can be paid. So in good purchase order systems like procurementexpress.com, items can be marked as received at any time, and that enables you to put all of that information into the purchase order in the one place. So against that purchase, and allow finance to be able to see those goods or services that have been received straight away. So when an invoice comes into finance, finance can look up that purchase order. They can see all the things that have been done in terms of that spend. They can see whether those goods or services have been received, and also they can see maybe a copy of the delivery docket. So in Procurement Express, for instance, just as an instance, you can take a snapshot of the delivery docket with your cell phone. You can attach that to the bottom of the purchase order, thereby providing proof of delivery to those people in finance who are having to pay the bill. So if it's been approved by the right people, and if it's been marked as received, then finance kind of know that that invoice is okay to be received. So just as an example, last week I received an invoice for some trademark application, and we've been doing some trademark applications in the past, like most companies do, and it looked like a legitimate invoice. But I was able to go into our purchase order account and to see that there wasn't a matching purchase order associated with that invoice. So then I got suspicious, and I looked up that that invoice and the company that was trying to invoice us, and I realized that that was actually a scam. And so those companies are, and it's very widespread. Those companies will send out invoices to people. The invoice will have some kind of contract that signs you up to actually spending money. Then they'll take your money because you pay that invoice, thinking that it's something to get that money back. So just by using the purchase order system, I was able to look that up and to see that that was fraud. So knowing that goods or services have been delivered at the right time, and knowing that that's against the purchase that has been approved by the right people, is a good way of managing and securely managing where your money's going. So headache number 2: get rid of fraud. Know when things arrive. So I've saved the best till last, I saved the best till last, and that's managing projects, budgets, and WIP, work in progress. So have you ever wondered what you're actually spending on a particular project? Does that keep you up at night? It certainly does me sometimes. Maybe you don't see the real project spend until you've totaled up all of your vendor invoices at the end of the month. So some companies run projects. The event industry is a good one for this. They run projects, and then at the end of that project, the end of that event, they add up their pennies and see how much they made. And a lot of the time, they didn't make anything. So product spend can go up very, very quickly and without warning. You've only got to set an ad limit too high, or order 1,000 too many marketing materials. I've set AdWords limits too high before in the past, when I was setting up things with AdWords, and spent far too much money than I should have done. That's very easy to do, and it all adds up. But Procurement Express allows you to split up your project, your project spending into separate budgets. So when a member of staff creates a purchase request, they assign the spend to both a project and a budget. And this can be as simple as calling a budget maybe marketing materials or AdWords if it's digital, or much more complicated collection of budget lines, depending on how you lay your budgets out. Procurement Express is very, very customizable in that fact, so it can do many things just to match with what you're doing already. And then management and approvers of spend can see the figures when they're approving that spend, which helps them make quick decisions. So when a purchase approval comes in or a request comes in for approval, managers can see the spend. They can see what's budgeted. They can see what's spent already on that budget, and they hopefully can make a decision on that spend very quickly. The beauty of all that is that all of your spend is then categorized into the right pots. So each budget is like a pot of money, and that money is going to go down categorizing that money to lots of those different pots. And so you're able then to drill down into those categories and see where you've spent your money. So then you can get a complete picture of your total spending for a particular project, and that's where work in progress, WIP, comes in. So being able to drill down into your budgets based on a particular project, show me how much we've spent with that project, can give you a good overview of your work in progress figures for that particular project, thereby giving you much better control over that, instead of being like the events company who has to count up their pennies at the end of the event. So some of our current marketing customers send these WIP figures onto their customers each month to show up-to-date records of their project spending so far. So that gives them the ability to give kind of transparent figures to their customers every month or every couple of months or quarter. So I've shown you how to use procurement software, or how we might use procurement software and especially procurementexpress.com to solve those 3 headaches. I'm hoping that at least one of those things is resonating with some of you. And Procurement Express can capture the information you need at the right place at the right time, tracking that spend from different people and different places and locations. Mark your items as your deliveries as received, and make sure that dockets get to the office. And also manage your budgets, projects, and work in progress figures in real time without having to wait to total it up at the end of the month. So what's next? Well, there are some things you can do after this talk. If you're looking for more information, you can check out. We've got product videos, videos from customers explaining how they're using Procurement Express. You can see features and benefits. They're all available on our website. You can sign up for a free trial for 7 days that's fully functioning, and you'll get a call from one of our guys who will help you set up that trial and get the price. And if you want to call in, then call in with that's our free phone US number. So as promised, at the end of the webinar, I said I would give you my personal email address. There it is. I'll leave it up there. Write it down. If you have any questions, or if there's any questions, give them to us now. Mano will pass them over to me, and we'll talk through them. If there are any questions that you want to keep private, then feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Richard, for that. That is very insightful. So we have one question from Jade House. The question is, when can I draw reports? I'll need the reports throughout the project.
So the good thing is that all of the information is kept in essentially in real time. So you can pull reports at any time you want. You can pull a report from for a particular length of time as well. So you could say, for instance, show me every purchase order associated with a particular date range, or you can filter out your budgets based on a project, and you can print out a report of those budgets and see where those budgets are in terms of what's available, what's been approved already, what's been marked as paid already, and also what's pending. So what is waiting to be approved. You can see all of that in real time.
Thank you very much, Richard. So Jade House is saying that she wants to buy.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, so we can speak to you after the webinar.
That's good.
Yeah, so you guys remember, if as Richard said, if you guys have any more questions or would like to see how our system works, for instance, or want any consultancy on procurement, just drop Richard an email. So over to you, Richard.
We lost you there for a minute. So you were saying if you have any questions, and you just drop me a line. So yeah, drop me a line. Give me a shout, or Richard at procurementexpress.com. Easy for me to say. We can jump on a call if necessary. We can talk through how we would do it, or how procurementexpress.com would do it, in terms of setting up, sort of finding a solution to the problems that you guys are suffering in your spending and spend management.
Awesome. So that's all of the questions. Thank you very much, Richard. I think we all appreciate your insight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time, and look forward to hearing from you. Take care.
Bye, everyone.